You know that kind of low-level hum of anxiety a lot of us feel these days? That unspoken question that just hangs in the air. If the absolute worst happened, like on a global scale, would any of us actually know what to do? It's this feeling of being totally unprepared for something we all hope never, ever happens. But what if we could trade some of that anxiety for some actual knowledge? Let's dig in.
So often, it feels just like this, right? You're looking for clear answers, for a solid plan, and bam, you hit this wall. It's like a giant access denied error message for the most important information of all, how to stay safe. Well, in this explainer, we're going to smash right through that barrier.
Okay, so first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. This feeling, it isn't just in our heads. It's a real, measurable concern sweeping across the globe. We're going to take a look at the actual data behind this shared age of anxiety.
And yep, the numbers don't lie. This is way more than just a vague worry. A recent YouGov poll is pretty eye-opening. Just look at France. A full 55% of people there think another world war is likely. In the US, it's nearly half the population at 45%, and in Britain, 41%. We're not talking about fringe opinions here. This is a mainstream feeling in some of the world's biggest democracies.
But here's the real kicker. It's what people think this war would look like. A massive 76% of those polled believe a new world war would involve nuclear weapons. That changes everything, doesn't it? It elevates the threat from a historical conflict to, well, an existential one. And that makes understanding our defenses more important than ever. So with that pretty heavy reality check in mind, let's shift gears. Let's talk about the primary geopolitical shield designed to prevent exactly this kind of disaster. I'm talking about the core promise of NATO, Article 5.
At its heart, the idea is actually pretty simple, but it is incredibly powerful. It's called collective defense. You can just think of it as the ultimate all-for-one and one-for-all pact. It's the founding principle of NATO, where every single member agrees that an attack on one of them is an attack on all of them. And look, this isn't just some fuzzy feel-good idea. It's written right here, in black and white, in the North Atlantic Treaty. The wording is so strong and so clear for a reason. It's not just a plan for what to do in a war. It's designed to be the ultimate deterrent against starting one. The message is basically, hey, if you mess with one of us, you're picking a fight with the entire crew.
So has this promise ever been put to the test? Well, after it was signed back in 1949, Article 5 served as this powerful, unspoken threat throughout the Cold War. But here's the wild part, it has only been officially triggered once. And it wasn't for a war between countries. It was in response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the US. That shows you how adaptable it is, but it also means that its true power as a deterrent between major global powers, well, that's never actually been tested.
Okay, so we've talked about the big geopolitical shields that are in place. But what if they don't work? What if the unthinkable actually happens? It's so easy to feel completely powerless, but there are concrete things you can do. And this advice comes straight from the experts, from places like the Red Cross.
First, to survive it, you gotta understand what you're up against. And it's not just one thing, it's a whole cascade of events. It starts with a flash of light so bright it can blind you from miles away. Then a thermal pulse, just a wave of pure, intense heat. That's followed by a brutal blast wave. But maybe the scariest part is the silent threat that comes after, radioactive fallout, this invisible dust that can drift for hundreds of miles.
Now that sounds impossible to survive, but listen to this. This is the incredible story of Mr. Aizo Nomura. He was in Hiroshima, less than 2 football fields away from ground zero. But he was in the basement of a concrete building, and he survived. This one true story proves that where you are in those first few minutes and hours is everything. Shelter isn't just an idea, it's a lifesaver.
So what do? The experts have boiled it down to 3 simple, easy-to-remember steps. Go inside, stay inside, and tune in. That's it. Get into the nearest, strongest building you can find. Brick or concrete is best, and a basement is even better. Stay put for at least 24 hours because the most dangerous fallout loses its intensity really fast. And have a battery-powered radio so you can hear official instructions about what to do next.
Now, if you are outside for even a second, you need to decontaminate. Just taking off your outer layer of clothes can get rid of up to 90% of the radioactive dust. Put those clothes in a plastic bag and get it away from everyone. Then, get in the shower, and here is a super important, totally counterintuitive tip. Do not use hair conditioner. Seriously, it can actually bind the radioactive particles to your hair like glue. Just stick with plain old soap and water.
So, we've covered what to do in the immediate aftermath, but what about a longer-term plan?
That brings us to this idea of a safe haven, a place you could theoretically go to just ride out a major global conflict. But how do you even figure out where that would be? Well, analysts use a pretty clear checklist. First, geographical shielding. Is it just physically far away from all the trouble? Second, self-sufficiency. Can the country feed and power itself without help? Third, does it have low strategic value, meaning is it an unlikely target? And finally, there's the practical side, ease of residency. I mean, can you actually get in and stay there legally?
All right, so let's check out the report card. The U.S. gets top marks for being isolated and self-sufficient, but it's obviously a high-value target. Switzerland is famous for being neutral, but it's right in the middle of Europe and can't feed itself. Australia and New Zealand score really well, but their strong alliances make them a bit of a target. And then you've got the southern cone of South America. We're talking Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Look at that. It gets a perfect score right across the board.
And that's exactly why this region comes out on top in the analysis. It has this unique mix of being super isolated, having enough resources to take care of itself, and a long history of just staying out of big global fights. Based on these criteria, it really is the ultimate Plan B location.
So think about it. We have global pacts designed to stop a war from ever happening. We have simple, life-saving guides on how to survive one if it does. We can even pinpoint the safest places on a map. The information is all there. So that leaves us with one last, really big question. With all this knowledge available, what's the real barrier holding us back from feeling prepared? Is it about finding more information, or is it something else entirely?